You know, I notice every once in a while that there's a bunch of stories on WHO Radio News that have legal implications to them. So I bundle them up and I talk about them with attorney Jeremy Rosenthal. Love talking to Jeremy about these issues, and he's back on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Jeremy, good morning. Welcome back to WHO Radio.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You know, a lot of businesses, Jeremy, they take a stand on issues. That's okay. Free country. Really interesting jury verdict in the case of a coffee shop owner who was pro-police. This might surprise people. What happened here, Jeremy?
Do you not think that coffee drinkers are in coffee shops, or you're thinking kind of beatnik, Seattle?
Yeah. And so you got, one of them that's like, oh, I'm pro-police. And apparently somebody's like, well, we need to punish coffee shops. Think that way, right?
Okay, so the story with this is that it's in Boise, Idaho, which they pronounce it Boise. They're very, if you've ever met somebody from Boise and you call it Boise, it's a problem. But coffee shop in the town of Boise, they are pro-police. They have the flag up, the thin blue line, all that good stuff. And the university invites them to come and be on the campus, right? Be at the university center. You'll sell more coffee here. And right after COVID, so they go on and they get into it with the Black Lives Matter folks. And the university actually was, from what I can see, was pretty grown up about it. Said, okay, well, we've got some students. They've got First Amendment rights. We've got a coffee shop. You've got First Amendment rights. Let's hug this out. Let's slug this out. Let's get to the bottom. But after a few social media issues, and they go to some student council meetings, and it gets very ugly, the coffee shop says, you know what, we're out. And they leave. They file suit and they win. And they were able to take a $4 million verdict against some of the folks at the university who they say, look, you retaliated against us for exercising our First Amendment rights. So from a lawyer standpoint, pretty juicy.
Yeah, because, I'm okay if a business wants to be on one side or another of the issue. They're just, you can't have somebody that has the power to try to drive them out of business do that, right? This is, to me, that's where the university went wrong.
And when the government comes in, like you as a radio station, I mean, you have the right to say, you know what, I don't agree with that, and hang up. Now, I don't know that you do that, but you have the ability to have the right to do that. When you're the government, you don't. The Constitution is the contract between the government and its people. So Boise State University, state funded, they can't pick teachers' pets, right? They can't pick Black Lives Matter over a coffee shop. And in this instance, I don't think they really did. But the coffee shop says, look, some of these people who were working at the university, they did, and they had judgments taken out against them. So again, they get to prove a point, but I don't know that these people, unfortunately, have $4 million to pay the coffee shop. I mean, the university might. That'd be pretty good, but I'm always making sure. I'm always looking out to make sure the lawyers get paid as much as possible.
Well, that's honest, and that's why I like talking to you, Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal on News Radio 1040 WHO. Hey, sometimes, Jeremy, I've talked with the listeners as we go down a list of some legal stories making headlines today, Jeremy, about political groups judge shopping, looking for a favorable judge for their view. And it's interesting. There's a federal judge in Texas that's calling this out. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Forum shopping has been and always will be a big topic, and probably in many ways an unsolvable topic. I mean, if I've got, for instance, a case that happens right on the county line, right? I'm going to go to the jury pool or to the judge that I think is going to be better for my case. So you got to file a case somewhere. And the judge's point, which is a very good one, which is forum shopping undermines the whole system. It undermines the faith in the process. That said, a good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows the judge, right? So, I mean, it is. You talk to a lot of lawyers and they say, look, it is my God-given right to file, to go judge shopping and find the best one that I can find. It's an American tradition. It's a really hard problem to solve.
Jeremy, final topic today, the continued insistence by the Biden administration to try to forgive student debt and they continue to fight in court over that. What do you think is ultimately going to happen with this?
It depends on the election, really. Okay, so what the Biden administration did is they made a decision, the Department of Education, based on a 2001 post 9/11 law that said you can take extreme measures with student loans in an emergency. And they're saying, well, it's an emergency because all these rates are so high, and well, maybe it is and maybe it isn't, right? That's the legal fight. There's been a lot of stop starting because that money comes from different states, right? If I apply for student assistance in Texas or Iowa, it's gonna come out of a state coffer in all likelihood, or a chunk of it might. And that money might hurt Iowa more than it hurts Texas. It may hurt Georgia more than it hurts Missouri. So that's why different states who have sued have had different treatment. That's why there's been the on again, off again, on again. But if Donald Trump wins the White House back, then you would think he pulls the plug on it. It's an executive action, or the Department of Education is the executive.
Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, thanks for getting us up to date on legal issues today.